music is, the number one storytelling tool is dynamics. It's like loud and soft tells a great story. But the thing that backs that up is the second
Talk
most
about
important
what
thing
was
is
just happening. Actually, I need to make a
So
correction from
bands
earlier.
can't
This is the
bump their
Easton
way
Area
through
High
or
School band that's in there
so
right now with
that's
Carol Ludy, the director,
articulation.
and the pieces they're going to be working on are Hounds of
Show people
Spring
the
by
flow and message.
Alfred Reed
It's
and
difficult to do.
Samuel Hazo's
In 5 minutes,
work.
you start to get more and more
That's
like
escaping
that.
me right now. Arabesque.
Arabesque.
There we go. So off to a great start with them. Very positive, very encouraging. Even going down the line with the brasses, usually that strikes terror in hearts, and they responded really well, and you did wonderful things with them. So talk about what happened in there.
Well, this group has excellent fundamentals to start with. As when you approach a group, you kind of look at how they approach the instrument, like how do they hold it, how do they form their embouchures, and this group has some good solid fundamentals.
We can hear that.
Yeah, and they were very receptive. The fact that they had trouble with slurring says that they've not done this before, obviously. The buzzing sounded like they've done a little bit of it. So they had some pitch problems. They weren't able to get on the right partial right away, some of the low brass players. So that tells me they're not quite so sure of it. And percussion, obviously haven't done as much mallets to do that stuff. And they have a way to go with it, but their approach to it was very positive, very encouraging.
Yes, that was good to see. And they had a nice model there with Steve, our trombonist, who was in there with that. Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
All right. So tell us what's next now. What's the next thing you're going to approach here in the rehearsal?
What I really would like to do, but we don't have time, is just to kind of go around the room with the students and say, okay, like the first clarinet player, I told her to pull her instrument in because she was playing it out a little further, and just go around to give individual kids pointers of what they need to do. The whole thing about the warm-ups, that's really critical. Just doing the warm-ups is not the end of the mission. Okay, if a band director does those warm-ups and the lip slurs and the buzzing and all that stuff, that's all fine. It's great that they're doing it, but without feedback to the kids, it loses a lot of its potential educational experience. It's exposing kids to, okay, you need to hold your head up. Like I was looking at a trumpet player and his hand position was, he had his fingers flat.
Sure, yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's like when I was doing student teachers at Mason, I used to call it visual assessment. Right, and that's just looking at the kids and seeing, okay, well, this French horn player's, not holding the instrument right, and all that stuff, because that's all part of it.
Right.
That's all so much a part of it. So, you can't just do the warm up. And like I've seen bands that'll come in and they'll do everything the way it's prescribed.
Everything written on the page.
Everything written on the page, but there's so many other things going on that need to be fixed.
Yes.
And that's where the director comes into play with giving them daily hints about what they should be doing better.
Right.
Okay.
And as we discussed yesterday, that's always the trick. And I remember that being the trick when I was a director, is when you've got a 45-minute rehearsal or a 40-minute rehearsal, and it's trying to get to everything.
Right.
And wanting to keep the kids engaged and keep their attention, but knowing in the back of your mind, these are the fundamentals that we need to focus on. And we talked about that in the roundtable yesterday, how important it is to take that time anyway, because if you do that, it's going to make all the other things easier.
I always looked at it this way when I was teaching. If I come around, and let's say the first clarinet player, I just told her, keep your head up and pull the clarinet in. Well, tomorrow when she comes in and she's playing, she goes back to playing the other way, I might just go to her, just look at her and go, and that, showing her this.
Little visual cue.
You don't have to stop the band and fix it. It may, like if the trumpet player with his hand position, all I might do with him would be look at him and go like, right? And that's all you need. It's a reminder to them. But over a course of time, those things start to get better.
Yes.
Because then they start to take ownership of it. And I think that's the biggest deal.
They take the ownership, and there's the consistency and the consistent reminders, and pretty soon it becomes habit.
Yeah. And like by the time you reach this time of the year, hopefully those problems have been corrected,
Right.
and you're ready to do other things.
Right,
So,
right.
and it could be, like they're ready to play, and you just go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to take a bigger breath.
Right.
Okay, there are reminders. Like the first time you do it, you might have to explain it. But you wouldn't do the whole band the first day. You might pick individuals here and there, the ones that are most glaring, and point it out to them.
There
So
you go. Okay.
it's feedback.
Yes, and that's always
Feedback.
very, very critical.
Yep.
So great.
Yep, that's
Well,
it.
let's let you get back in there with Easton Area High School and
Thank
keep
you.
doing
And
your magic.
Good questions, by the
All
way.
right. Thank you.